What's going on, guys, and welcome to March's episode of Game of the Month, the show where we pick a game at random every month, and at the end of the month we talk about it, except for this month we picked the game, and we'll be picking next month's game as well, but we'll get to that in a sec. My name's Seth, and joining me, of course, is Chevy. Chevy, we just reviewed Dragon Age The Veilguard, Sonic Colors Ultimate, TMNT, the Cowabunga Collection over on Plus Club. Since then, how you doing, and are you excited to talk about Monster Hunter Wilds, which was our game of the month for March that we pulled rank and just picked for game of the month because it was new.
Smart choice.
This community, our community, is a big fan of Monster Hunter. It made sense to pick that. And are you excited to reveal what our pick for game of the month in April is?
Yeah, doing pretty good. We filmed that not too long ago, so I haven't really had a chance to do much of anything yet. So nothing too big has changed as far as talking about Monster Hunter. We got to play again pretty recently, so we have a refresher
yesterday.
Yep, and
which I needed because I went hard on it when it came out, flew through the content, and then took a break. So it's like, I need this refresher, so I'm glad we sat down and played for a while.
I think the timing's really good, too, because this will be like days before the update. And so there will be some, at least for me, some things I'll probably have to say about it, which, may or may not be addressed. So,
yeah.
And then, as far as the next one, I mean, if for you guys who aren't aware, we do every quarterly. Seth picks, we pick, I pick, and then you guys pick, and it is our joint pick right now. So
yeah, it snuck up on me because January I pick, and then April used to be Chris, but then we moved over to both of us deciding on something.
Chris disappeared.
He's welcome back anytime. We actually should just invite him back on sometime and see if he wants to chat it up. But since he's not here, we do a joint pick. We both discussed it. We both decided on something. And so should we just pop into that now?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, we talked about it, and a game came out not that long ago, another recent release that we both want to play that we thought it would be probably a pretty easy game. We both want to play it. It's relevant because it just came out recently, and it just kind of makes sense. And so the game we're going to play in April is Split Fiction, which is Hazelight's newest game, the people who brought us It Takes Two, A Way Out, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, I think it's called. And so, it's a game we both really want to play. Haven't played it yet. It'll probably be like a 15-hour game. So be perfect for both of us as a joint pick, and we'll be reviewing that at the end of April. So that's the pick. Do you have anything to say on our pick?
I'm just looking forward to playing it because the two games of theirs I have played, I've absolutely enjoyed. So
they make great games.
Looking forward to seeing what kind of imagination they threw into this title as well, because that's my favorite thing about the other two games, though. In regard of like A Way Out, I also liked just the storytelling in that one. It's really good.
Yeah, it's more of a drama.
Yeah, versus
It Takes
Two was a fun game, but the writing was inconsistent in it for me. So
I didn't know if it wanted to be like almost like a family story, or more of like a adult humor. They kill things and torture a stuffed animal and weird shit. So it was a little inconsistent with the pelvic thrusting book. This one, I'm curious about the tone of Split Fiction. So
right, and if it's consistent.
Yeah, but everybody was raving about it when it came out, and
awesome.
A lot of people said it's the best game they've made. So that's really high marks in my opinion, because I think they've already made some really fantastic games. So I'm looking forward to playing Split Fiction in April. And I think that's everything got to say on that. You have anything else?
Nope.
Nothing? Okay, so we played Monster Hunter Wilds in March, And yeah, in case you didn't get a chance to play that game, Monster Hunter Wilds is the most recent of the Monster Hunter franchise that has absolutely blown the fuck up. In which you, if you don't know, somehow play as a hunter. Now in a new land with a new task, new mission, hunting monsters so that you can use their resources to build better stuff to fight stronger monsters is basically the gameplay loop. You go on hunts, you prepare by bringing different stuff like, oh god, why am I not remembering any of the tools names? You have like a whetstone to make sure to sharpen your blade. You have traps. You have bombs you can bring, all sorts of stuff to prepare for these hunts. You make sure to eat before the hunts. That gives you buffs.
Variety of potions, including weather related ones.
Yeah, like cool drinks, hot drinks, stuff like that for hotter environments, colder environments. And then you hunt down monsters that are all very different, that have their own move sets and environmental things that they can do. They can run to other monsters and fight each other. And yeah, just big boss battles basically. Then when you beat them, you use their resources, you carve them up, and you're able to make new armor, new weapons. They're very stylized. This one has introduced a more straightforward weak point system with focus strikes. Basically, you hit an area enough, and it will show everybody that they have a weak point there, and you can strike with a focus strike to basically stagger them and do a bunch of damage. This also has they're called sacrates? Secrates?
Sacreds.
Sacreds? Every time I see that name, I'm like, I could pronounce that a million different ways. Basically, you have a mount in this that is your chocobo, and you ride that thing around. It has a lot of automated systems, which we'll talk about, in which you can just press a button, hop on that thing, and it will auto run you to wherever you want, or the monster. There's also arcane weapons in this that is, as of right now, seemingly like endgame weapon.
Yeah, it's a craftable and I guess upgradable. I unfortunately have not made one myself yet. So.
Yeah, I have one maxed out. We'll talk about that, but we'll talk about it. I'm kind of confused by what they're trying to do here. And yeah, what else am I missing that would be worth mentioning to somebody who maybe didn't play Monster Hunter Wilds?
Well, Monster Hunter in general as a series, and Wilds is not different in this regard, are generally story-related games when you're going through your normal and hard modes, and then open up once usually hard mode is a little more open. It still has story, but it's less like cutscene heavy as you run into with the normal mode. So if you are,
you talking about high rank?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it has a campaign. You play the campaign, then you go into high rank, and then you basically hunt down harder versions of monsters, and later they will implement an even higher rank
story stuff. So.
Yeah.
And then that'll continue through patches for the next. If it's like the last two games, 2 years, and then they'll release an expansion, and then 2 more years of that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll be releasing new monsters and events and all that stuff. So we have a lot to look forward to with this game. We know that we have an update coming soon. We got one coming in summer. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anything beyond that. I don't think.
Nothing yet.
Yeah. But yeah, you hunt monsters. It's a big old boss battle game. We both played it. Oh, it's also, just in case you don't know, 4-player cooperative. And this one has an emphasis on being more open world feeling than prior games, although they are adding the hub, and I'm very excited about that.
There's also NPCs that'll fight with you in this one.
Yeah. You can call an SOS if you're soloing it, and if people don't show up or if you're playing single player, NPCs will show up, so you don't have to play with people. But it is a game that's definitely meant to be played with more than one person, whether it's an NPC or people. But you can play by yourself as well.
For sure.
Yeah, we both played it. What we think of Monster Hunter Wilds in March?
Yeah, so the short of it was, I had a blast since played through everything that I could in it, outside of a couple side quests I haven't done. But story wise, I'm done. I think as of the end of last night, I'm in the 70s now. I haven't quite hit 100 yet. I took a pretty long break, and I still need to do that. But I think as far as like content coming out, I'm high enough to do everything they're going to release coming up too. So if you're curious about how high level you have to be, I think you only have to be 50 to get the access to the stuff coming out. Having said, so the first impressions of the game was waiting for shaders to load, which takes forever. I don't know if this is the same on console or not, but on PC you have to wait for shaders, and that was, I was a little worried because at the same time Steam was full of not good reviews of the game because of performance issues. Which I'm happy to say they have done some work to. They have some more work to do, but the game is much more playable now than it initially was. I didn't have too many problems.
Yeah, it still needs work, but yeah,
it needs work for sure.
They're chipping away at it. Optimization's not great.
Speaking of that, the footage here, any like stuttering stuff you see is not the game. It is my OBS. Just throwing that out there. Let's see. The character creator is, we got to play with it a little bit before the game came out. It's the same thing. I like it a lot. You also get to do your Palico. Sorry, apparently I can't form words today. Which was, expected and fun. But the one thing
which is something I probably should have had in the beginning as well when I was talking about if you didn't get a chance to play it. Palicos are basically a buddy that you have. It's a little cat dude that you also use resources to put armor and weapons on, and you get to customize them as well. But it's basically a little assistant that runs around with you, helps you fight, stuff like that, will heal you in battle, stuff like that.
Yeah. One change they've made to the Palicos that was not in the other ones, to my knowledge, is they gave them a human voice that you can turn on. You can also turn it back to just their Palico noises.
I made the absolute mistake of listening to that nightmare fucking voice in English, and it was horrendous. And I went gladfully right back to the meowing. You have to read subtitles, which is kind of annoying, but I don't really need to know what the hell they're saying. I want to hear the fucking Palico meowing. Like playing a Monster Hunter without that meowing was insane to me, and being replaced by like the 10 years ago archetypical fucking cutesy Western anime voice. Hey, woo, woo. I was like, oh, I couldn't. I fucking.
I played through the entire campaign, both difficulties with the English voice because I was curious. And then when the story was done, I was like, okay, back to the Palico noises.
Yeah.
So, because the what are they? The gal who's like your partner in this one, I can't remember her name or what her position is, but she's the one who basically gives you permission to start hunts.
Alma?
Yeah, I think so. She already talks more than I want her to, and then the cat was doing it on top of that. So I was like, no, go away. Let's see. The game looks very good, though a little inconsistent in its quality, which I think is a little weird. Some zones look amazing, and not, I shouldn't say so. Some parts of the game look really good, and other parts look a little muddy, and I don't understand that, but it's not like a huge deal. The visual effects in the game are awesome because obviously they have new tech now, and the lighting stuff is cool, especially with like some like the lightning, and to bring up a classic monster, Rathian will do like the super fireball basically, and the effect after it blows up is pretty cool looking. The monster animations and stuff like that are really good. I enjoyed it a lot. The combat feels pretty good, even though they tend to change it every Monster Hunter a little bit to kind of keep the gameplay a little fresh. I play Hunting Horn. They have changed it up a little bit to where like in World, I had a move where I could at the end of my song combos, I'd put the horn down and spin it, and it could do a bunch of hits, but it would also play like an additional part of a song or additional song. This one, I instead put a puddle on the ground, and depending on which horn I have, will give different buffs for people standing in them, like defense, attack up, healing over time, stuff like that. So pretty cool. I like it, though I have to constantly remind myself to do it because I'm so used to just like doing the damage stuff in the prior game and playing that for off and on for 4 years. It's kind of muscle memory. So every once in a while, I'll like, oh crap, and I'll run around the monster and put these puddles down, for people to get the benefits if they happen to be walking in them. The song system is very familiar. If you're familiar with playing Hunting Horn in prior games, this will be very similar. And feels good. The pacing in this game is a little bit faster, but it's not I might be wrong on this. Rise, I think, is a little faster than this game. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Anyways, the pacing's faster than World for sure. But
in what way? What are you talking about?
Combat speed.
Oh,
feels faster in this game.
Oh yeah, definitely. Everything in this game feels faster.
Yeah, which makes the combat feel really fun, but I also kind of think it makes the combat a little easier. That with the weak point system, with the exception of a handful of monsters, kind of makes a lot of them pretty easy. And that's not necessarily a bad thing for the base game, but it is a weird feeling. Also, I think a lot of that is because the weakness system allows you to aim, which is a huge advantage compared to the iterations that they tried before.
Well, and with the focus strike and the stagger, I mean, it completely changes the flow of combat.
Yeah, and I almost wish I heard someone else say this, and so this is not my idea, but I completely agreed when they said this. I think the monsters just need more hit points, so you feel like you're going to fight longer, because they feel kind of fast, which is probably good for some people, but I like having those 10, 15-minute long fights. And you only really get that with like a handful of monsters in the game, so...
Yeah, it's weird. In the whole time I've played the game, specifically in the campaign, but the whole time I played the game, being carded is not that frequent of a thing. And typically when it has happened to me, it was like because my camera went up my ass because I was against a wall. But that's like kind of a rarity. So like I'm not getting killed very often. And, you could argue like, well, the hard stuff's not out yet. Yeah, but World definitely... I saw a lot more people getting carded at the early iteration of it, but also fights don't last very long. They go pretty quick, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but which we could talk about. But you're never like getting close to the end of your time in a hunt, like ever, and that happened in World pretty often, especially at harder difficulty stuff. But like I remember like looking at the clock and go like, we gotta fucking kill this dude. Right. That has not happened ever in this game,
especially doing multi-hunts, and in this one multi-hunts are also like there's still plenty of clock left.
Fighting dude, they fly by.
Yeah,
they fly the fuck by. It's crazy. So like, and I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it is definitely different.
Yeah.
But there's like a lot of things that are automated now. There's things that will auto take you to wherever you need to go. You can also teleport around to different camps or wherever to get places quick. But that's been a thing. And then it seems like the monsters, even though they're like super animated, look fucking fantastic and fun to fight, they die pretty quick. It's kind of weird. Like by the time I'm like getting into the fight, I'm like, oh, they're dead. It's already over. Holy shit. Like that went quick. So I was feeling like I was like, geared up and doing like great way too early in the game. I was like, fuck dude. Like I watched somebody talk about the game and they're saying like every time you beat a monster in this, you get like most of the crucial stuff you need to build your next armor and weapon pretty fast. So you don't have to like repeat monsters a whole lot until like, later. But like the flow of just going from monster to monster is like really fast. Like you're just flying through the game and the fights last, less time. So like the whole thing just feels like, and I heard somebody else say too, that they think it's kind of trying to get people invested in the game quicker, especially if they're new players who've never played Monster Hunter, so that when the harder stuff comes out, they'll already be into the game. That could very well be true. World didn't do that and got a bunch of people into it, but that could be the case. I don't know. But
yeah, my only, and maybe that is the case, obviously, but my only personal confusion with that was like, Monster Hunter World was their most successful game ever. This was bound, regardless of the quality of the game, this game could have been absolute dog shit, it was gonna sell.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's disputing if it'd sell or not. I'm
Yeah.
saying like the people who bought it, they want them to get into it.
Yeah. I think it's at 10 million copies already. So
Yes, that just happened, I think, or it was just announced.
yeah,
But yeah, there's a lot of theories out there on why everything feels more streamlined. And you'd expect this to be more streamlined. World is way more streamlined than prior
for sure.
Monster Hunter games. There's a lot of things you don't have to do anymore before a hunt from World on. And so I do think we're getting close to where you don't want to streamline too much more because everything feels like pretty good. But like, everything from how long it takes to fight a dude, how easy the fights are, easy. I think they're fun, but they're not challenging. Right. To like how streamlined systems are, you can have it auto craft stuff. I'm getting into everything too much, but I'm just talking about pacing because you brought it up. It seems like everything in the games, the flow is just it goes quick.
Yeah. Though. So speaking of some things that they obviously decided to change to try to keep the flow going, story pacing. I'm used to like you check in constantly in town, right? In every Monster Hunter, you always come back, you check in, you take care of your stuff, you go back out. This game really wants you to just kind of go, and to the point where I would constantly forget to restock my stuff because the game was like basically pushing me, like go, keep going. I'm like I'm out of potions, like. I got to go back now because I didn't remember to do it at the supposed checkpoint.
There's parts of the campaign, too, that just kind of force you. Like, it doesn't really tell you you're about to go do a hunt. And sometimes you'll go do a part and, like, there'll be, like, the story plays out and then you come back to town. And other times the story plays out and then it throws you in a hunt. And I'm like, I wish you would warn me that there's going to be combat coming up because then I could have prepped for this. Yeah. And other times you didn't have to prep for anything because nothing happened. So, yeah, it's kind of weird, but not a big deal.
Yeah, and so I wasn't in love with that. And... I really wish we would have, and this obviously is just a personal feeling, but I really wish they would have like sent me back to base more often so that instead of like one of the little pop-up tents they decide to throw on the map or you throw on the map depending, and then just go again. And I'm like, okay, it's not a huge deal, but it felt off to me. In fact, the entire pacing of the campaign felt like they were just rushing you through it. And
I was rushing through it.
Yeah.
But it does feel a little fast paced. It's also like I think only like 15 hours.
Yeah, I don't expect a lot from Monster Hunter campaign because it's like
I'm pretty yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I was like I'm just gonna fly through this. But World's campaign was longer, and had more grind to prepare. To get through it, whereas this one you just fly through it.
Yeah, I think they just went a little too far pace-wise. I'd like to see them dial that back just a pinch.
Yeah. I want to live in the moments a little bit more.
Yeah, like so in World, I have like intimate knowledge of a lot of the zones because how much time you spend in them.
Yep.
And like I don't know these maps at all yet. Like. Because I've barely been in them, it feels like.
I know sections of them pretty well, but most of the time I'm just hitting up on the D-pad and
letting the saber take you.
Yep, to where I need to go, kill the thing, get my shit, leave.
Yeah, and then as far as like the environments go and stuff in the game, I think they're mostly all good. The only one I don't like is I don't like the ice zone that much, and it's not because of the design; it's because I think it's too dark, and that became really apparent when. You fight a certain all black flowy skin monster later. He's kind of hard to see, and like you can't like appreciate his character model or anything like that in the zone. Versus like I got to fight him in the arena, and I was like, oh, he's a cool looking monster. What the hell?
I didn't notice that. Maybe our gamma's different.
Maybe, but I have heard other people say that that zone's a little dark and it's hard to fight that guy specifically there because of it. Because he just looks like a black blob, basically.
Yeah.
Versus, in the arena, he's nice and sunny out when you're there, and you can see like his entire character model. I was like, I would love to see all these details otherwise, but and it could very well be a brightness setting, but I just kept it at default, so who knows? Let's see, what else do I have? I haven't really played around with too many of the other weapons yet. That was kind of my next venture, but Monster Hunter is a long-term game, so I'll have to get around to that. I have made a lance and shield at this point. I haven't used it yet, but I wanted to try it out in this game. It looks fun to be able to just kind of tank hits. In fact, when we were playing, Chris at one point got blasted by, oh, who was that? It doesn't matter. It was like a beam. I think it was the roly-poly dude. Sorry, I'm bad with names. And like he got to sit there and the energy hit him and split off his shield basically. And I was like, that's pretty cool that you can even do that. And that's one thing Monster Hunter's always been good at. Combat always feels epic. So, and like I could fight the same thing over and over again. This game's the same. The combat is good. I don't even care if I'm there for loot or not. It's just fun to play. So, yeah. Monster selection is pretty good. I have seen that it is, I think, one monster less than World when it came out. It feels pretty good to me either way.
It feels comparable.
Yeah. I know that list will become ridiculous in no time. So I'm looking forward to that. So one major thing, and I kind of brought it up earlier with the patch coming out, there is some things about this game that they were experimental with and I'm not in love with, and that is the multiplayer.
Oh, yeah.
You have this link party system, which could work fine. Like the idea is fine. But you don't share a lot of time together in a social setting in this game. It's basically, I don't know if anyone's here ever played Warframe, right? But like you're in your own ship in that game or your own hub in this game. You pick the mission and then you join people there. And sometimes you get to see each other in this game, but then they're gone. Like,
yeah, you brought up yesterday a pretty good point. You were saying it's like Grand Theft Auto 5's multiplayer, where like sometimes it's working correctly and sometimes not. You'll be together and then the mission will end, all of a sudden you're not together. Yeah. And it feels disjointed, discombobulated, segmented. It's I get what they're trying to do, kind of, but either just like be together always, all the time, or just bring back the hub, which we are getting a hub. But
right,
yeah, it does. It's not confident in what it's trying to do.
Yeah, and to talk about the hub part, one of my favorite things when I was playing like Monster Hunter World, Iceborne, was that hub was a cool little place to like kind of hang out while people are kind of prepping anyways, and you could sit in the hot tubs and like do all these emotes with either by yourself or with your palico. Other people would be in there with you. You could share meals and do emotes. There was arm wrestling and stuff like that. Like,
that's honestly probably the biggest thing. I don't have much complaints about this game, and I'll talk about that. But soft complaints. One of the biggest soft complaints I have about this game is the hub's gone, which was such a characteristic of Monster Hunter to have this social hub to hang out and do all those things that you don't really need to do, but like you expect to do. But also like not having like a place to eat with the cool animations. You like go eat in your fucking tent, or like,
which is animated fantastically.
It looks awesome. Yeah, 100%. And I get like Wilds, it's supposed to be like you're out roaming around, you're on the move, you're camping at these movable campsites, which I think is neat. But I want to eat in my tent by myself, solo level in the tent, or eat at like the cool fucking table where they do the cool animations with the palicos, and it's seemingly bringing that with the hub. In the trailer we watched, it looked like they're bringing the stuff back. So once they bring that back, win-win. I'm happy we got both.
Also, the hub's is going to hold more people than they did before, which is awesome.
Yeah. So really looking forward to that, because it's not even a complaint that it's not in the game. It just feels like something's missing from the game, and that is something that's missing from the game. It's just like that charm of it's a social game, and so should have those social features that the past games have already had. So I'm glad they are bringing it with the update, but we obviously can't review that aspect. It's not in the game yet, but without it, it feels a little empty.
Yeah, so the multiplayer experience is like, it's fine. Like you can play with people and you can still do the hunts and stuff. But the in-betweens is just you by yourself still. And that's kind of a bummer. My other nitpick about their design is there's no like, the hunting board, the mission board. There's no board. It's just the NPC, and she walks around.
which I kind of hate.
Yeah. Really annoying. Really not a fan of that. And I do know, especially in later game, you're doing a lot of just picking hunts from the map instead.
Yeah.
And making your own investigations and stuff. But sometimes, like for me, when I just hop on and don't know what I want to do, I like to go to the board, go to the SOSs, and join people's games. Like, just that's fun for me because I get to go in, I get to play multiplayer. It's not for me; it's for someone else, obviously. But like, I still get to do the hunts and stuff. It's fun, right? It's one of the few games I like playing with people in. So,
Yeah. I mean, you can do the SOSs here with Alma.
yeah, but I have to track her down. Is my whole point.
Yeah.
So, like, even though a lot of the stuff I'm doing now in the game doesn't involve you needing to talk to her because I just go to the map and I pick what I want trying to fight there.
Yeah.
I do like to still go to the board, or in this case, Alma, and then select other people's SOSs and join them. So,
Yeah.
and because I'd never know where she's going to be, I get a little annoyed. Small complaint again. But hopefully they address that. Maybe the hub will just have a designated spot, which would be great. I'll never leave that. And then the item box is just not there. You have to go in your tent every single time.
Which is weird.
Kind of don't love that.
Yeah. It is like everything's in one place when you walk in the tent, like food,
Yeah, I like
restocking.
that when you're there.
But it is kind of annoying that if you just want to do one of the two things, like you have to go into the tent to do it. It's a small nitpick, but yeah, it's
Yeah, these are all nitpicks.
It's weird, yeah.
I mean, my big, spoiler alert, I love the game. It's fantastic. I'm going to be playing it off and on for the next 2 years easy. And then as long as the expansion does come out and it's fantastic, I'll be playing it for 4 instead. So
Yeah. I think it's important we talk about these things too, though, because I think for anybody who follows the channel regularly, you already know we're fans of Monster Hunter. We love Monster Hunter. We love this game. But there are some differences in this that I think are worth talking about. So,
well, and things they tried, and I applaud any developer for trying things as long as they take the feedback.
Yeah, take the feedback and don't ruin your game by changing it too much, and they didn't do that here.
Yeah,
so
for sure. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the only real complaint is performance stuff. The game needs to run better. That's not a question.
Yeah, Capcom has this system where it'll show you how much memory all your settings is taking, and once it gets in the red, you're probably going to get performance issues. In most Capcom games, it's pretty accurate. In this one, it's not for me.
Yeah.
My stuff looks fine. It's not even fully filled up, and my game starts running like shit. I'm like, that'd be great if that was a little more accurate.
Yeah.
My PC should be able to run this at pretty decent graphics, and I have to turn some things down to medium and shit. I'm just yeah, that kind of sucks. And then even when I do switch a couple things, it will not change. I can drop it to low, and it will not change performance at all. So it's I'm really hoping they do something about that.
Yeah, and I will sometimes have issues. I noticed if too many environmental things break on the screen. My game will just pause for a moment, and I'm just don't like that. It doesn't do it all the time, but there's certain maps where it does happen. So.
Yeah, I don't get that on mine, but I get random little blips of lag or something. It's a millisecond, but it's just annoying in a game that's so fluid
Action.
and fast paced. I'm no, stop.
And dodges, though you're flying a lot, so
Yeah.
it's a little different for you. But if I gotta dodge a swipe and there's a moment of lag, I'm getting hit.
Yeah, I don't live that life.
But yeah, I've been rambling for a while now. I'm gonna go ahead and let you take over. My last thought though is I absolutely adore the game. So
Yeah. Yeah, same. I love this game. I think it's great. It's an awesome addition to the Monster Hunter franchise. It definitely improves a lot of things from the prior games. I think it makes some changes that I'm not so in love with, but I'll try to reserve, and I have to review this as it stands now, but I do know, having played Monster Hunter, more is coming, and it's going to change everything up.
For sure.
So
they'll probably change combat 3-4 times in the life of the game.
Yeah, so I'm not upset in any way. I'm just curious to see where things go. But yeah, I think it's a gorgeous looking game. I think the graphics are fantastic. I think the animations are the best they've ever been in every single way. The monsters move in crazy ways. Your Sacred runs around and looks like awesome the way it traverses the terrain. The game is awesome looking. I just wish I could turn the graphics up a little higher because, the optimization needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
But it's a great looking game. The story through the campaign I couldn't have cared less about.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It seems to be a sentiment that is being repeated throughout the community since the game came out. I know a lot of people don't like what's his name, Nata.
Yeah.
He was annoying. Like I saw the memes, I'm like, he's a kid. Like people just hate him because he's a kid. I'm like, oh no. When he talks, it's just like I don't care. So yeah, campaign. I'm glad it has a campaign because then for anybody who wants something more than just hunting stuff, can get some story out of it. But like just like in World as well, like I'm like this just kind of works as like a mechanism to introduce you to the world, the monsters, and gives you something to chew on. But like
you get memes out of that at least. Like where's my Dragonator?
Sure. But I just want to hunt stuff. I want to get my gear and weapons built up, and so I just kind of flew through the campaign and played after that. So I'm not upset that it has a campaign, but I didn't care about it, or the characters really. I didn't really care much about the characters either, but that's the campaign, I guess, as well. Monster selection, I think, is good. I think there's good variety of different kinds of monsters. I like the addition of like an octopus style monster. The animations are crazy. It brings some new, interesting dynamics to combat. Having to worry about all these different limbs everywhere. The one's on fire. I don't remember the fuck its name.
It's the black flame and then zoo something.
Yeah. Fighting that thing from the ground looks like it'd be really annoying. I play Insect Glaive, so I'm typically helicoptering around. Also, thank you so much for when they took away specific moves of the Insect Glaive, things that I think were crucial to the playstyle of using the Insect Glaive. They heard complaints about them taking it away, and they put them right back in the fucking game. And now the Insect Glaive feels the best it's ever felt. So I went from going like, I get why you took these moves away, but like that kind of sucks. And then they put them back in the game with some of the new additional moves they've added, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is the best there been. So no complaints there. Because I typically play Insect Glaive. I've been playing Insect Glaive mainly for like the last 3 Monster Hunters. Since World. But and it's a blast in this. Feels similar to how it felt in World, and I didn't play Rise as much as World, but I played Rise a little bit. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. What was I talking about? Oh, monster variety. I really like the new dude. What's his name? Arkfeld? Arkvold?
Yeah.
The white monster with like almost like chains.
I'm wearing his armor.
that it sends around. I think it's a really cool design. I think his moves are really fucking cool, and I think his armor is really cool. So he's an awesome addition to Monster Hunter.
It has no place in this review either, but his upcoming set looks amazing. So because we're getting a HR version of him.
Yeah. What's its name? Lalabarina?
Oh,
the spider.
Yeah, that one's really cool.
That thing's really neat too.
It is very like it's such an interesting animation set it has because it's like very twitchy and like bounces back and forth a lot and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what Lalabarina means, but it almost moves like a ballerina.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of interesting the way it's like a 4-legged spider. Probably helps people who hate spiders to only see 4 legs as opposed to.
Doesn't
8.
this game also have a arachnophobia mode that turns them into blobs?
I think so.
Like
I think is that this game?
I think it's this game. I didn't check, but I think Chris was talking to us about it.
I think I told you about that. There's a video I watched where it completely changes its body into just a big blob.
Yeah, okay.
And so all of its animations when it jumps on you, it's just the blob jumping on you.
Right.
Which is really smart. If that's this game, I'm pretty sure it is. But anyway, I'm really happy with the new monsters. Definitely looking forward to returning monsters from the past as the updates come out. And yeah, the fights are awesome. The environments are awesome. For the most part, I like most of the environments. The environmental stuff you can use on the monsters is always fun. Let's see. I love that you can wear male and female armors. That just gives you more variety in stuff you can wear.
Yeah, actually, my character I have both on because I liked the male pants better for the aesthetic I was going for.
Yeah, they
play
just
female character.
they put the work in for 2 sets of armors, and like why not allow everybody to just wear like there's a whole. It just doubled the amount of armors I can wear. I mean, obviously they're the same looking, or not same looking,
Stats.
same stats, but like different looking. So like sometimes I'm like, oh, that top actually fits.
It also gives you more to grind for if you're a completionist.
Yeah, true. So that's definitely a cool addition that I really like. Yeah, the weak point system is interesting because I kind of hated it when I saw it in the trailers. I'm still not in love with it, but it has gamified the game, and it does, I have to admit, feel good to spot that glowing mark on them, especially as Insect Glaive main. If they have like one on the top of their head, it's awesome feeling to like flip into the air, helicopter over, and stab it, and then backflip and then shoot them. So
Yeah, I think Scream was saying that it felt really good as a bow user as well because you could just see the whole monster.
It's almost kind of annoying when you have a bow user or anybody with range when the weak points show up because they just like shoot them constantly. I'm like, I can't even hit these fucking things.
Because I'm either playing with you, and you can be all over the monster.
Yeah, I'm pretty
or
quick
I play
with it.
with Chris and Scream, and they're both also usually using quicker weapons than me. So I just gave up on it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was like, I'm swinging like a tree branch or not a tree branch, a tree log around basically. So I'll just worry about buffing people.
I also like the animation too with the Insect Glaive when you are mounted on there. That's one thing that's also easier in this game is it doesn't seem like in prior Monster Hunters you had to you had to brace when the monster freaked out or your stamina would fly down. In this, you can still brace. It tells you brace, but I never brace anymore. I just hit the button and I start shaking, and I just keep hitting the button, and then it gives me the option to like drop them, and I do it, and it's never an issue. So they should make that more punishing. I want to have to brace.
Yeah, you don't have to at all.
It's and I'm mounting all the time because I'm always in the air. And so it just kind of sucks. I liked the excitement of going like, oh shit, I got to hold on. And now I'm just like, it doesn't fucking matter. But I like the animation where you stab them and then spin around and pop out of there. So, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so combat's awesome. Everything, graphics, monsters are awesome. All the weapons and armors are awesome. They're a little more imaginative than World was, and I appreciate that.
At launch, for sure,
Yeah, for sure. Because that was the big complaint of World was everything was just
it got way better in Iceborne.
kind of samey. Yeah.
Yeah.
This started out the gate thinking about that. I appreciate that. And then the Artian weapon. Artian. I have one. I have maxed out rank 5 wherever the hell. I don't get the point of them outside of it's something you're supposed to work towards. I knocked mine out really quick. Obviously you can take it apart and build it differently, but like it's weird to have like a singular weapon be the end all be all, I guess. It feels kind of anti-Monster Hunter to me, because in other Monster Hunters you would build like a bunch of weapons, and then you would on this hunt take like a weapon that's going to be weak towards, and you can still do that obviously, but like it just feels weird to just be working towards one final weapon. And I'm curious about how it's going to work once they implement higher difficulty, new monsters, how they're going to keep that. Like, once you can get like better weapons, are they going to make like more ranks to rank up your Artian weapon?
They'll either do that or they'll leave it in the dust.
I kind of hope they do. Everybody kind of hates the way they look from what I hear. And
They're kind of boring.
I don't hate the way they look, but they don't look like they belong in this game. I feel like I'm holding like a sci-fi ancient artifact alien weapon. And I don't want to be using a weapon that looks like that. Like, it's neat that as I ranked it up or whatever, it starts like getting crazy and twirling and shit. But like, I'm not a big fan of how it looks in contrast to the world I'm in.
Yeah.
If it was like a sci-fi game, it would fit right in. But yeah, I'm not in love with the whole system. I kind of get what they're doing, but I don't think it's a great idea. And I think they should probably just get back to focusing on weapons from the monsters and getting the highest versions of those and getting really crazy with their designs and stuff like that. So yeah. What else? I'm looking forward to the hub. We were talking about that. I want something a little more consistent when it comes to multiplayer that doesn't feel segmented as it does now. It's fine. I can play with people, but it does feel kind of weird. Also, for anybody who's like, oh, you can, as long as you don't do story missions, run around and do missions with your friends in the exploration mode. But like, I've tried that, and I got like one friend in, the other one couldn't join, and so there's a bunch of weird issues with that.
It's inconsistent.
Yeah, and so like, just like Grand Theft Auto 5, I'm like, I don't want to deal with this. So let's just do hunts, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully they get that figured out. The game just came out, so
yeah.
They can figure that out. I can't really think of anything else to talk about. It's an awesome game. It's a lot of fun.
What do you think about the oh god, what are they called? The mutated monsters. I can't remember the term they use for it. Where the like Anjanath, for example.
Oh, that was actually kind of interesting. I kind of hate how they look, just because they all look, like symbiote suits or something. But it's still neat to see them in that. I completely forgot about that because I don't see them as much anymore in the campaign. It's kind of neat to, like, especially when you first run into Anjanath again, and it's been a while since I've seen Anjanath.
It's not even just it's Fulgur Anjanath. Those are just like, I like Fulgur Anjanath because I like the lightning version of him. But
yeah. But to see him like crazy looking like that was really weird. So it's neat, but again, I'm not seeing it much now. So
yeah, my big thing is especially with like Odegaard and the bear dude that was very much shown off early when the game was coming out. I can't remember his name. Again, sorry, I'm terrible with names.
I can't remember any names either.
There's way too much just like everything they do explodes. Everything explodes. I'm like, this is so exhausting. Like, I just feel like I'm just dodging constantly. So I'm not in love with that, even though it is nice to have these variants that do have their own like visual effect on their armor and stuff like that. It's like these cool glowing bits. I like that part. I just don't think the fights. I don't think it adds good qualities to the fights. But again, I'm glad they experimented. Like, I'm never gonna complain about that. I just not in love with those fights as much as like just doing the normal versions of monsters. And then, what's your favorite monster in this base game so far?
Probably Arkfeld.
Arkfeld?
I think it's pretty cool. The first time I fought him, I was like, this is actually a really fucking neat fight.
Yeah.
And I just like the way it looks.
Yeah, he's cool looking. I would go with Radow. I love Radow. I don't like his armor, but like his visual, like as a monster, I think he's really cool. And his attacks, I think, are also a lot of fun. So,
which one's that?
Taser Boy. Like his horns.
Oh, no, yeah, that's also one of my favorite ones.
I love Radow.
Yeah, that's a really cool fight.
Every time I fight him, even if like he's kicking my butt a little bit, sometimes I'll be like, I don't know, he's a blast.
He's one of my favorite kind of monsters to fight though in Monster Hunter, because I'm in the air a lot, and so is he, and so I feel like I'm just like playing fucking Ace Combat.
Oh.
He's like, he'll like be in the air and he like looks at me and gets ready to like fly at me, and I'm like dodging in the air and I'm flipping around, I'm hitting him to try and stay in the air, and it just feels fucking crazy. And then I look down and you guys are just running around. I'm just like, what do you guys even do down there?
I could flash pod him if I wanted him to come back down. So.
Yeah.
No, and I also just because of the new like the lighting and effects and stuff, his attacks are crazy looking.
Yeah, they're scary.
I love it. So yeah, sometimes the distortion on the screen and the sound effects he makes in tangent together are like, I just have headphones on. He's making these crazy sound effects, and then the lightning bolts are going off. I'm like, that was scary, but very cool. So
Yeah, they definitely have nailed, and this isn't the first game they've done it, but they've definitely nailed like impacts. Like when you get hit by something, it fucking, not only are you worried about how much damage you just took, but like you you get hit, and you're like, oh shit, like you know you got hit.
yeah, well, especially at my least favorite encounter, which I'm sure is mostly just because of the amount of damage he does to me when he hits me, is Gore. I can't remember. It's like Magala, I think, Gore Magala. God, he hits like a truck. It hurts so bad. He'll hit me and I gotta go heal. And he's aggressive, very aggressive. He's like one of the few monsters in the game that I do think is appropriately difficult.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's a couple.
yeah.
Most of them not so much though.
Yeah.
I feel like I just go in there and just beat them up and then leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the squid monsters, like you kind of brought up, they're interesting too because like it's hard to tell there are movements because sometimes those end up hitting you and hurting you. I'm like, you were just wiggling. How'd that hit me?
Yeah.
Like so, but it's fun because I think also, and oddly enough, not a lot of people that I play with are using weapons to do this, but you can chop all their limbs off, which I think is cool. So.
Yeah, I've never seen. I've seen like one
Yeah.
get chopped off. So
Yeah,
I haven't really seen.
respect for it. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah, everybody's kind of samey. It's kind of weird.
well, yeah, I'm all bonking, so
Yeah.
I can't cut anything off. I can only break things. So like faces is where I usually hang out. So,
Yeah,
but and tail chop offs, and it could just be the people again, the circle I'm playing with, but I don't see them chop off as often as I did in World. That's another thing.
I don't either, but I get a lot of final hits on tails and knock them off just
Yeah.
because like when I mount, I get back there and
Oh, that's a good place for you to be with Blade. So
yeah,
yeah, subtle differences, and I do think it's just the weapon types that because like I'm using blunt, so I'm obviously not going to see it very often, and then Scream and Chris like change weapons constantly, so they switch to the right ones. I know life needed things off the tail, and they've intentionally like set up do that. But anyways, rambling at this point.
yeah. But yeah, I think that's about everything I have to say on the game. Overall, I think it's an awesome game. I love it. I had a blast with it. I do feel already kind of burnt out on it just because of the difficulty factor that will be remedied once they add new monsters and new difficulty. But we played last night after I took a long break, and I was having fun. I mean, the game's just solid. The combat's awesome. Even when I'm not necessarily worried about what I'm getting from this monster, I still enjoy the fights.
Yeah, this is gonna be a weird example, but Monster Hunter and Elden Ring kind of share that for me, where I just enjoy fighting.
They're very similar because people view bosses and Souls-likes in general from software, and Monster Hunter similarly. Because people are always like, oh, it's that guy, or oh, that fight's crazy, or oh, this guy.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's really weird. And not this game, but past Monster Hunters, bosses are challenging. Same thing Souls-like, so it's
Yeah.
kind of weird how people have their favorites and their memorable fights, and oh, I fucking hate this guy, and oh, you get this really cool thing from this.
Yeah.
But they're both bosses, so
Yeah, and like World, I played that a lot over 4 years, and every time, regardless if I was working on something or not, I could just shut my brain off and just go hunt and just be having fun every time. Never got boring. So this game feels very similar. So anytime I turn it on, I'm probably going to be there a few hours. So
yeah. Well, yeah, we were getting footage last night, and then you're like, okay, I got footage. I was like, I can keep playing. Like, I'm not bored playing this, so
okay.
and we just kept
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what our plan was, because
Yeah.
we were potentially going to film this then, and that
Yeah.
a little behind the scenes.
And then Chris hopped on. We just kept playing until I got too tired. So it's really easy to do.
Yep.
But yeah, solid game. It's got a couple of problems. Nothing detrimental. I think the worst problem that this game has, outside of pacing, which isn't that big of a deal. It's just weird. Is the optimization. That's my only complaint, and I can play the game, so I'm not like freaking out about it. But it would be nice if they optimized.
I'd
it
also
better.
like to see them at some point implement a large event style fight, sort of like Kol Taroth or.
It's actually surprised that there wasn't anything like that really.
Well, and that was added later in that game too. But yeah, there's no like big fight where you need like gadgets, right? When that's and they don't have to do that again. But I would like to see something kind of just like crazy and out there. Not necessarily something you have to grind all the time, but something you do occasionally for fun. So.
Yeah, agreed. All right, well, should we hop into recommendations, or we have more to say on the game? I feel like we just talk about every fucking pixel on the screen of this game.
I mean, I probably could keep talking, but
yeah, I think I could too, but I don't think we really need to. Recommendations: if you're a Monster Hunter fan, you already played this.
Played
Yeah, and if you know somebody who's a Monster Hunter fan, they probably made you play it. So, but
I think this is a good entry Monster Hunter title.
this is the best one in my opinion. I think World is also a great introduction for people, but this one is like so streamlined that like anything that you might get hung up on in a past game is not going to happen here. This game, they're going to get you the fuck in there, and you're going to just start playing and not have to learn a whole lot. I mean, you're going to have to learn some stuff, especially when it comes to weapons. Monster Hunter, you better learn how to use your weapon correctly, but somebody will let you know. Everybody's just ready to teach you. But when it comes to just like getting in and figure out if you like the game or not, this game's going to do it pretty quick. But yeah, if you're a Monster Hunter fan, for some reason you just came out of a bunker today and you're watching this review before you even learned this game existed, I'm telling you, you should go play this game. If you like boss fights in games, Monster Hunter is definitely a game for you. It is just boss fights, basically. There's like ambient things you can kill, but they're just kind of there to add flavor to the environments. And obviously
make you grab random materials from time to time.
Exactly. But it's all about the big boss fights, and they're all very unique and different and offer a lot of cool stuff in terms of, the fights you're going to have. If you're into grinding, I know some people view that term differently. Some people view it negatively, positively, whatever. But like if you're into working towards stuff, Monster Hunter is famous for that. It's notorious for that. You're always going to be working towards something. Everything has a benefit. Just gaining resources to keep upgrading your stuff, getting new stuff. It's definitely if you enjoy that gameplay loop of just working towards things. Monster Hunter in general is great for that, but this game also does that. If you're into unique combat systems, I think Monster Hunter it has a lot of different weapons with different ways to fight, but some of the weapons are really unique to games in general. And if you really want to experience a combat system that can really just feel different than almost every game out there, this game offers some really unique ways to fight stuff.
Every weapon's very different feeling.
Yeah. And some of them you really got to learn. They're really like Insect Glave's not hard to use, but like there's mechanics to be good with it that you need to know how it works. This game also, I think, does a really good job at teaching the weapons better than past games as well. But yeah, if you're just looking for some kind of involved combat system where you're not just mashing one button to kill an enemy with a big fucking health bar, but actually like being involved with like, I'm gonna aim for the limb, the arm, I'm gonna aim for the head, I'm gonna cut the tail, but I'm really good at this, or blah blah blah. It's got a completely different vibe to it. So I'd recommend that. Any other recommendations?
I mean, hub-based multiplayer games, because that's what it is. Though it is absolutely single-player friendly, this one more so than the others with the inclusion of bot support.
And the bots function fine.
The one gal's OP as hell.
Yeah, it's fair.
She will lay a monster out.
Yeah.
I'm glad they gave her a hammer for that, though, because if you're going to let someone bonk someone, give them a hammer. So,
yeah.
What else? I don't know.
If you like kaiju battles,
kind of, yeah.
When the monsters run into each other and fight each other, it's always a spectacle.
Yeah.
And some of the monsters' attacks really remind me of fucking Godzilla stuff, which I just love.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't think there's much I can really add to it. I
Yeah.
mean, more people have played this one than any other one before it. So I'm
Yeah, it's so mainstream that the idea of recommending it's weird to me. Just because I'm like,
Yeah.
everyone knows
I
now,
will say
but-
this though, if this is your first Monster Hunter and you like it, I would absolutely encourage you. This is not super on topic here. I'm sorry, but I would actually super encourage you to go back and play other Monster Hunters. They're different. They
Yeah.
all play differently. And they're all play like I could probably go back and play the old ones and still find enjoyment out of them. So
Yeah, same.
I mean, I still have World installed because I love that game. I will play it all the time.
Yeah, and Rise is different than World. It's got mechanics that are unique to just it.
Yep.
So
Yeah, it's really cool. You can kind of it's always familiar and different at the same time when you play Monster Hunter. So if you get into the series, first off, welcome. But secondly, there's a ton of them out there to play. So
yeah, and once you're hooked, you're gonna be looking for any of these games you can get your hands on. So because they're all similar but different.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
yeah, I think that's about it for recommendations. We should probably grade it.
Okay.
I'll go first. I've pretty much felt this since I started playing at the beginning of the month. I'm going to give this a very strong and likely to go up A minus. I love this game. I think it's great. I want to give it an A, but it's got some issues. It's got a couple issues. Nothing game breaking. I'm giving it a fucking A, but I'm going A minus. I want to give it an A. I would love to give it an A plus, but it doesn't have. The story's not amazing, blah, blah, blah. But as a game, it's a lot of fun to play. I just really want them to work on the optimization, and pacing is just not as satisfying as I want it to be. But outside of that, it's fucking awesome. So A minus.
yeah. I pretty much agree with you verbatim. A minus game, 100%. It definitely has room to improve, and those improvements, the big ones I want, are coming in a couple days. So that grade will probably easily go up in a couple patches. And then the other thing
It's weird reviewing it right now because something I really want from the game's coming soon. So I'm like, but we're reviewing it right now.
the other thing too is like I think the end game's better, and obviously they had 4 years of work on it, but Iceborne's end game is a lot more fun. So I hope,
And that's an expansion
yeah.
of a game. So
I need a end game system that's a little more fun,
Meteor.
but it's coming. I know, because Worlds was also base game pretty meh. So
Yeah.
same thing. Just gotta wait for it to come, and to see what kind of stuff they got in store for the future. Because I'm sure they have it all planned out already, with room to adjust. Because I'm sure they're checking feedback constantly. So
Well, they got a lot of people interested in the brand with World, and they learned a lot of things with World and its expansion. So I'm sure they have a more confident plan for this game.
well, and I'm sure with now 2 of their major titles selling so incredibly well, Capcom probably just hands them the company
think
card
Monster-
is their most successful game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
Both of them.
fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's
If you go-
Wilds than World.
so crazy, man. I would have never guessed that before World came out, that would be the case.
It's crazy for
Yeah.
sure, because you would assume like Resident Evil.
Yeah.
At least I would.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. Capcom has a lot of like popular franchises. So, yeah, it's crazy that Monster Hunter became as big as it is. So,
Oh, and also shout out to crossplay.
oh yeah, fucking
Totally
finally.
forgot about that. Crossplay, same day launch. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, long time needed, and they finally did it. It was weird when Wild Hearts came out. I'm like, this game's got fucking crossplay. Why can't Capcom do it?
Right.
But they did it. So,
Yeah.
thank you for that. Yeah. All right. 2 A minuses. We love the game. It's got a couple things that can improve, and they are improving some of that right around the corner. Let us know in the comments. What do you guys think about Monster Hunter Wilds? Honest opinions, whether you're a brand new player, maybe you haven't played this at all and you're thinking about it, or you're a skilled veteran and you're playing this. Where are your thoughts when it comes to this game? Do you love the game? Do you think it's all right? Do you have some complaints? I haven't really heard a whole lot of people being negative about the game at all, so I don't really expect to hear that from anybody.
Other than performance.
Yeah, and then what are you maining? What are your favorite monsters? Where you at in terms of progression in the game? What rank are you, and what are you hoping for in the future of this game? How do you want them to support it? What monsters are you hoping for? And any major complaints? How's your optimization? If you're playing on console, how's it play on there? Let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to Monster Hunter Wilds. But that's going to do it for this episode of Game of the Month. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you, Shay, for joining me for this conversation. Thank you guys for joining us all the way to the end of this episode. And give us a like if you're here. We'd appreciate that. But that's going to do it. And until the next episode, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.